Welcome back to the Creatives, everybody. Today I'm joined by Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan Dennis. And for those of you that don't know Ryan, he knows you because he's edited every single episode of the Creatives Podcast up until today. And it's just one of those things where
it's a round circle.
It is a round circle.
After months.
It's funny because there's a meme of like, you know, the editor who goes out in public and starts saying hi to all these people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey man. Like, and they're like, who are you? And you're like, oh, you don't know me, right? That's right.
Yeah, exactly. I had that happen at the Motorama in Toronto last weekend, or it was like 2 weekends ago. And I know this guy who has a Miata. For people who probably last a couple episodes ago, I forget the guy's name.
Luke.
Yeah, Luke Webster. Mm-hmm. You're talking about have a couple Miatas and all that. I have two. I was talking to this guy on Instagram about car stuff, and I ended up meeting. I wanted to meet the guy. I ended up meeting at this car show, and I no joke walked up to the guy. I was like, "You don't know me, but you do." And he's just like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I have a white Miata. He's like, "Oh yeah, right."
He knows you for your car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's so sick.
It's weird how many people I know and they have no idea who I am. It's weird.
That's fun. That's the life of an editor. We're gonna get all into that today. Yeah. But welcome back to the Creatives, everybody. This is episode 14. We're almost at 15 episodes, which is just crazy. Today I'm joined by Mr. Ryan Dennis, who is a visual artist who does a lot of photography and cinematography. And Ryan and I met through our shared passion for cars and especially old shit boxes. And you know,
that's one way to put it.
we met in the car scene, you know, through friends, and there's a really good car community in Ottawa. And we met many years ago, and we were kind of on similar paths, you know, going into the space of video. And we're gonna dive into kind of Ryan's past today. We're gonna learn about kind of how he got here, how we ended up working together, what we do. Kind of maybe we'll talk a little bit about our process for the podcast, so people can kind of get an understanding of how we make this show. You may know Ryan for some of his companies. He has Mount Media Films, which we'll get into, and Red Means Record, which is
a bit more I wouldn't say professional, but more diverse in what I do. Yeah, so I guess that's a good way to put it.
That's cool. And big shout out to Midnight Hour Studios. Midnight Hour Studios is a pretty much a blank canvas studio space that you can rent in Ottawa, and they have given you, the listener, 25% off your first booking. So you can use the space to create anything that your mind can think of. And the owners of this place are also very, very cool. So if you have any questions, just give them a shout. They'd be happy to assist you. So thank you, Midnight Hour Studios. Thank you to our editor, Ryan, even though he's sitting right here.
Hey.
I always look and make notes to him.
Hey, Ryan, make sure you get that.
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about how we make the show first before we dive into all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good to start that off on that.
So the Creatives, myself, Ramzi, I own and operate Pano Media, which is a video production company based in Ottawa, and we create commercial video. We do drone work. We do a lot of content for marketing. So the Creatives Podcast was a bit of a side project that I decided to do. Mostly, it's a networking endeavor. It's a challenge in communication. It's a challenge in production, as you can see all the stuff around us. Yeah. And it was a way to create content with, honestly, as little of a time commitment as possible, but I kind of ate my own foot there because it's taking up a decent amount of time. Yeah. But the idea is that you shoot a podcast, you shoot a master episode, and then you get one piece of content from there, and then you can then carve out multiple little clips, and then you can create 6 pieces of content from one recording session. So that's kind of like why I started the Creatives, was to, 1, create content, 2 was to network, and then 3 was just to like give people a platform to talk about themselves, to showcase who they are, and share with the people in their lives what they're doing. And it's, you know, we're on 15 episodes now, and there's just
14.
Oh, 14.
Sorry, I caught you on that one.
You did get me on that. Oh. Thanks for being here. You should come to every episode
welcome.
Recording. So we're on 14 episodes now, and there's so many more people that are gonna come on this show, and we're gonna have some cool convos, and I can't wait. Like, honestly, we're gonna have 1,000 episodes at some point. At this, there's just that many people.
So many people in this city that people don't know about.
Yeah,
like not just the car scene that we started in, but there's people I went to college with that I can probably talk to, but now they're working in Toronto. But like from such a small city, so much can expand.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Exactly.
Like I didn't even know there was someone here in the city, Bad Dog, that has apparel, like for vintage clothes. I'm like, cool. That's sweet. Now I got to go there. Cause like that's cool how this is all oriented around not just media people, but all types of some sort of creative.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cause creativity is not a linear thing. It's not something you can't put it in a box. You can't say like you are a creative and you are not, because we are all, as Mr. Francois Mittens said, everyone is a creative. Because you can express creativity through everything. Like it's just doing something in a unique way, finding a unique solution to a problem or approaching something differently. So it's it's that's kind of the conversations start with the creatives' creativity, and they kind of snowball into learning about people, learning about their journeys, and learning about kind of how we are all alike. We're more alike than we are different. So from a production standpoint, where we are today, we're recording inside of Midnight Hour Studios.
Yep. Beautiful studio.
Awesome space. It's super handy because we can do a nice overhead lighting setup and really like slide that C-stand all the way up and get a nice top-down light. So right now we have a couple of lights. If you're looking at this on video, we have light lighting us from the front. It's an Amran 200X with a nice rectangular softbox that's filling in the front of us. We have another Amran 200X on top of us with a Aperture Light Dome 2 and a grid kind of top lighting. Yeah. We have an Amran F21X, which is a 2 foot by 1 foot LED panel, giving us a nice hair light, glowing us a little bit. We have just a Philips Hue bulb manually controlled in that hallway over there. There's an Aperture MC in the plant behind us, and there's an Aperture 60X lighting up the gray or brown barn door back there. And we're shooting the video on a Sony A7S III, and audio is going through Shure SM7B mics on these lovely K&M stands right here.
They're so nice.
They're nice because I had the cheap Amazon stands for so many years. They kept
falling down.
The mic would just slowly fall. So Cameron, who he grew up, his father was a musician, so he grew up just kind of immersed in the world of live music and live shows. So he's like, you got to get these stands. They're the best ones. They're really not that expensive. They're just very good made. So these are holding the lovely SM7Bs. And this is all being recorded into a Sound Devices Mix Pre 3 mixer recorder thing, which is on the table. So if you ever see my eyes kind of going down, I'm just monitoring audio to make sure that it's still recording.
Yeah, and we're not blowing people's ears out.
No, we're not blowing people's ears out.
Luckily, that hasn't happened yet.
No, I don't think so. I like to... I hope you're enjoying the quality. I really put a lot of effort in to make sure the audio is good. So basically, when we record an episode, I'll take the 2 audio channels. I'll mix them down. I'll tweak individually the voices if one person spoke lower. I'll level them out, and then I'll give Ryan a file that syncs right up to the camera. So I always make it the exact same length as the scratch audio. Yeah. So then Ryan will take it, Ryan will color grade it, he'll cut back and forth, side to side, and then he will create reels out of it, and then those will get distributed all over the internet, and it's a work in progress, I'm learning, he's learning.
I'm always learning, yep.
We've been working on this since October, November?
I want to say November.
Yeah, November of 2022, and it's now March of 2023, and it's been a cool process, and for those of you listening, like Ryan knows who you are.
I know
all of the people that have been on the show.
I know all your deep and darkest secrets.
Yeah, even the stuff when we cut the cameras.
Exactly.
He knows.
Yeah, I know what you're saying before you actually start, and then after. There's a good I want to say 5 minutes of just jibber jabber that I know about.
That's funny. So, sometimes those are the best convos, though.
Those are the great.
The before you roll and then the after you cut.
Exactly.
You're like, I should have kept
rolling. It's just like when you put in what'd you have for breakfast? I don't know if those. I technically sometimes don't know if those are supposed to be cut out, but I keep them in because it just adds a bit of human nature to it.
Absolutely.
Because we're all just human, right? We're not robots. So I'm just gonna throw in what'd you have for breakfast? I'm gonna put it in. I don't care.
It's a good question. I learned that from my friend Gehani. She works. She used to work with Studio 2020. Now she works with Origin Camera, and I watched her conduct an interview on camera. Okay. And that was the first question that she asked was, what did you have for breakfast? And if they don't answer, it's what is your favorite breakfast? So her and Francois used to kind of always deploy that question.
Okay.
Because they used to work together, and that's kind of when I met them, and I was like, this is just genius.
Yeah.
Because it just breaks the ice.
Yeah, it breaks it. It makes you more comfortable.
And it might make people second guess, like, shit, I should probably be eating breakfast.
Yeah. I am so bad for that. If my friend Kevin watches this, he'll know exactly the fact that I don't eat breakfast in the morning, and I'm terrible for it.
So you didn't eat breakfast today?
No, I did actually. I had a coffee and a bagel. I say bagel weird.
Coffee is not part. I guess coffee is part of breakfast.
That's a daily occurrence.
That's okay, man. So that's kind of like a bit about the show, The Creatives. This is Ryan Dennis. This is the guy who's editing, and we're gonna keep working. We're continuously trying to improve the experience for you, the listener, you, the viewer. And if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, just know that you can listen on the go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And if there's any other platforms that you would like it to be on, like any sort of audio streaming platforms, just let us know. Shoot us an email. All of our contact info is down below. Let us know. Be like, hey, I want this on. I actually don't even know what other streaming platforms there are. I'm sure there's a couple more.
I think like Spotify's the number one, and then YouTube, like YouTube Music.
Yeah, YouTube. I don't know if it's on YouTube Music. It's on YouTube as a video, but anyway, if there's anywhere you'd like to see it, just let us know. We're always working to make it as accessible as possible, and so that is The Creatives. That is
that's the structure of how this is done.
I have nothing to hide. Like, I mean, I'm not breaking ground here with the tools that I'm using, but it's been a culmination of recommendations. Like Ryan will give me tips. He'll be like, try framing it this way, try tweaking this. Steven gave me recommendations for audio, and just like, you know, it's cool. You work with all these people, and then like
you as the project that you're creating, you learn how to make it better from other people who also are part of it and also watching it, which is really, really neat.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of my favorite things too, when someone shows up and they see the lights. And like, there's been a few creatives on the show who are very familiar with holding a camera, but are never in front of the lens. And
that's me.
I'm
never in front of the lens.
Have you ever been on? You've made some videos about your cars.
Yeah, like I've done like vlog stuff. Oh God, this is like going back to like when I originally was doing like I want to say automotive stuff very frequently. Like I want to say back in 2017, 2018, still back in college at the time. In front of camera, like, you know, doing car stuff, you know, working on my own car. I did like some like build vlog stuff, but I'm like never in front of camera because most creatives who, you know, work with cameras are more comfortable behind the camera. It's just kind of a natural thing. But it's very rare for me to be up here, but I kind of like it. One, it gets you out of your comfort zone. You have to break that ice in some way. And this is a good way to do it. Because you're just having a normal conversation. Like, I'm imagining you guys aren't there right now. Yeah. Even though I can't, because I know you're there.
And one of the coolest things I like about creating digital content is like, well, first of all, like my kids one day are going to be able to look back and, you know, look at their dad, which would be me hypothetically, but see me at various stages of my life. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I just think it's cool to be like, you want to know what I look like at 26? Here's a video. Here's 20 videos.
Exactly. Like I have videos still not on YouTube actually anymore. I took them off because I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of my friends. I have them downloaded though.
Okay.
Never delete anything. But they're videos back from like high school when I was doing like visual effects and you know, practicing 3D modeling and 3D tracking and all that stuff. And no
star fades.
No star fades. I used a little bit of Windows Movie Maker, but I strayed away from it once I learned Adobe. But there's like a deep dark side of, not, I wouldn't say dark, but there's a deeper side of my expertise, and there's visual content to show that and to be like visually like this. I actually did this. Yeah. But I don't want to show anybody because I'm never in front of camera, and I don't like how I look in front of camera. So
yeah. But it's more so what I like about being on camera is it's the transparent nature. It's like, you know, like I know some people want to stay low key and they don't want the public to see them, but like we live in a world where there is zero privacy. There's security cameras at every inch, every corner. Unless you live in a bush, you're being seen the second you step out of your house. There's doorbell cams. There's cameras in cars. There's cameras on buildings. There's cameras in phones. And it's like these cameras are not only being accessed by the people who own the devices. They are being accessed by potentially anyone. So in that regard, you're never not going to be seen. So I'd rather put some effort into how I'm being, not put some effort into how I'm being seen, but like show myself the way I want to show myself, which is through conversation and cool production. And welcome to the show. Welcome to this side of the lens, man.
I know it's kind of nice, but I know I'm gonna have to listen to this later while editing and watch myself.
We're gonna have editing. To get someone else to edit this.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, maybe you do it, or I don't know. I can do it. I can still do it. I don't care. It's part of my job, but
yeah, that's funny, man. So Ryan, I want to dive in a little bit about you and your origin story and how you ended up with a camera in your hand and doing it for a living and just being passionate about it. How'd you get here? Where'd you start?
That goes way back. I say way back, a decent while way. I want to say like 2009 or like grade 9.
Nice.
Oh, grade 8. That's that's the specific date. That is right there.
Is when it started.
Grade 8 is when it started. Out in middle school in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
No way. So you're from Winnipeg?
I was born in BC. So I was born in Vancouver Island, so Victoria.
Sick. Nice
so I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
I wish I was out near the ocean again, but it's really expensive to live out there.
Yeah.
But military family, moved all around. But the whole media side of things, that all started in grade 8, middle school. One teacher, basically the class was like a multimedia class, and we're doing drama stuff and videos and things like that. And that was like the time I picked up like a proper quote unquote camera.
Like a DSLR?
It was an old DSLR. It was like a T3 or something like that, like pretty outdated now.
Yeah.
But I picked that up and I was like, this is cool. Like, this is sweet. Like the fact that I can take an image and it's like there and I can like edit it. I was like, that's so freaking cool. And that's when it all started. I was like, all right, this is what I want to do.
Nice.
And to have that dedication for so long, one, it's kind of rare to have that for some people to be like find what they want to do for a career so early on within their life. I was very lucky, I guess.
I had zero clue.
No.
I had no idea. Like, what the heck? I still don't know what I want to do.
Believe me, I still have moments where I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do still sometimes. Like, lack of motivation and, you get discouraged and things like that. But from finding what I wanted to do back then to now, it was kind of a roller coaster, I'd say. Always wanted to do video. That was that's the number one thing I always wanted I stick to is getting in the film industry, being a director of photography, or getting into like visual effects. So what really started it for me was the visual effects side of things.
Cool.
So YouTube channels like Corridor Digital and
Corridor is a really
Freddie
cool.
W, Corridor Crew and all that. I watch them still to this day, ever since 2008.
They make some mind-bending visual effects.
And I still like think like I want to keep doing it, but it's so in depth. Like you have to wrap your brain around. Like it's completely. It's like doing like normal filming with a camera in person. Like we talked about this in the past a little bit. But everything you do in the digital space is pretty much the same as you do in the real world. But it's like you're opening it up into a realm of that just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
like
just defying physics.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just it's a black hole that sucks you in and you can't get out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it started with that. And I started doing, learning how to 3D track and 3D modeling and taking 3D models and rigging them to throw them into visual effects side of things for in-camera, like fake person pretty much, or like subject. And then that's when it was like ball was rolling, high school came around. And then once I got into like grade 10, the same teacher that I had in middle school went to that high school. I was like, sweet. All right, well, I'm going to pick your brain and we're just going to keep doing stupid stuff as high school students.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing a pretty, like an hour and a half long film, like a
in grade 10?
A grade 10, grade 11. I think it was something like that.
This was the teacher of the multimedia class?
Yeah, exactly. This was like an hour and a half long feature film, all put together by the entire school pretty much. And it brings me back because like it was like pretty much, I guess I want to make my full scale production.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're only shooting on like DSLRs and things like that. But there was like 200 people involved with this, actors and then crew and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Turned out to be freaking amazing. I was like,
do you still have a copy of it?
It's on YouTube.
Nice.
It is on YouTube. I don't really want to disclose it.
Okay, it's
like
okay.
I can say the names.
The link may or may not be in the description.
It may or may not. I can disclose the names and then see if people can find it on their own time. One was called Crawl Space or The Crawl Space. And then the other one was The Elevator.
Cool.
And those are like really like, I guess like dark type of films and things like that, or like really eerie and like the plot changes and it's medieval and then it goes like sci-fi or something, or like zombies and stuff. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But like there's a pretty good structure to it for what we did back then. Was pretty impressive.
For grade 10, yeah.
For grade 10, yeah.
Yeah, I had a grade 10 photography class, and like that was my first experience with a DSLR. We had these Nikon cameras, and our school was fairly new, so we had resources to have cameras and Photoshop and whatever and other stuff. But I remember I learned how to do like a panning shot and how to do like a tilt shift and like in post do a tilt shift.
Yeah, tilt shift effect, blur the top, blur the bottom.
Blur the top, blur the bottom. Yeah. Groundbreaking, I know. And then even at this time in grade 10, when I was in grade 10, Instagram was on the rise, and it was at that time it was purely about the photos. It was about the effects that you could do inside. So I would shoot the photos on the school camera, email them to my iPod Touch, and then bring them into Instagram and edit them. And if you look at my personal Instagram, or even I think if you look at the Pano Media Instagram, which was not what it is today at one point. If you go back to the first photos, you'll see those photos. I photographed like my friend's bracelet, the Obey sweater, just silly stuff in high school. But
it's what sparked it. That's the thing, right?
But so I started then, and I put a camera down for a couple of years,
a little
and
while.
It was just life. But did you keep going? Like through high school, did you have your own camera at that point?
Yeah. So I got my own camera in Winnipeg. Nice. I got a T2i.
So this was all in Winnipeg, right?
This is still all in Winnipeg.
Oh, nice. You weren't even in Ottawa yet.
Not yet.
Wow.
No, this is still. I graduated high school in Winnipeg.
Nice.
So yeah, I got my first camera. It was grade 12, I want to say, or grade 11, one of the two. But I got my first camera, and then that's when I was like, all right, things are kind of getting real because I have my own gear.
Yeah.
So I've always had a camera in my hand ever since then. I've never not had a camera in my possession or owned to me. Sorry. Sometimes I don't have a camera on me at this particular moment other than my phone. I know. I'm slacking. My camera bag's over there. There's no camera in it. But yeah, like it always started from then. And then once that kind of ended, 2014, moved out to Ottawa. That was our last posting.
In 2014?
In 2014 was when I moved here.
I guess that's when we graduated high school the same year.
Yeah, same year.
So when you graduated, moved
so that
to
summer in June, summer we moved out here.
Did you want to come here, or like, my friends?
Your friends, like you get to that age where you make a lot of good friends, and then you move. It kind of sucks, and it is what it is. I hold on to a couple of friends I keep in touch with there, like long term. Yeah. But not very many more. But it is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, moving out here. The media stuff still happened, but it was a bit slower. So I had to move here. Just finish high school. Needed to get a job. So I worked at like Five Guys for like, I don't know, a summer or something like that. Nice. And then I got another job at like Cora's for a little while. Nice. And then
in the kitchen?
In the kitchen. Nice. Yeah. Fast paced environment. Oh man.
Sick. I didn't know you worked in a kitchen.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen for 7 years.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You worked at Gabriel's. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, I worked at Cora's for a year. And when I started there, I was like, I'm going to school. So that whole year, I just worked my ass off there, building money for a year, and then went to college at Algonquin for a photography program.
I think Remy, he was here on the last episode. I think he went for that same program.
Oh, really? So a lot of people often go to that program mainly because
it's photography.
It's photography, but it has a little bit of a video side to it, which is another reason why I took it, because one, I couldn't afford film school. It's like $25,000 or something like that for film school.
The Toronto Film School one?
Yeah, the Toronto one, or I think there's another broadcast media course here at Algonquin, but it didn't interest me, and it was a bit more expensive than I was wanting to really put towards. So the photography was good because you learn about working with cameras properly and exposure. It's no different than video, I want to say. There's slight differences. But joined that program, 2-year program, and had video side, a little bit of entrepreneurship as well, which is really helpful. I don't think film school would really teach you that unless they have that course within there. No. But the entrepreneurship side and the video side really helped, and that's the reason why I kind of brought myself in. And then did that 2-year program there, then graduated 2018. And then from there, kind of bounced around jobs. I, like going back to a kitchen just for a little while, because it's really rare that anyone going out of college will get something right in their field right away. Because people always say you need experience. Well, it's like, only way you can get experience is if you hire me. Yeah. So I don't like when people say that. Like, come on now. So I jumped around a little bit, and then I ended up working for Environment Canada for a little while. And then from there, I worked as a media guy for a tire shop, and then I went, was it there next? think it was no, sorry. The tire shop was before the government. I think. There's so many little places that I jumped around just from leaving college. It's just how it is.
Just to figure it out.
Yeah, just to figure it out. Exactly. I just jumped around a little bit, went to Environment Canada for a little while, and then got a job at Sketches Inc., which you obviously heard of. Yeah. And they're a custom paint shop out in
you did
Maryville
some
Road.
really cool work for their YouTube channel.
I'll say working there was quite fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experiences, filming different type of content, pretty much like a web series in a way, to see how you paint a car. That was really fun. A lot of experience within there. And then from there, got a new opportunity, which I'm at now, just doing media as well. And then currently just grinding on freelance stuff.
Nice, man.
So it's been a roller coaster.
It's cool. You're on the right path, man. And So you kind of started Mount Media Films around that. That's kind of how I got to know you. We were in the car scene, and back then we had way more time on our hands than we do now. So we would spend every Friday night meeting up in parking lots and
just hanging out,
and going to cars. This was before the car scene got a pretty bad rap throughout COVID. Like people started doing really dumb stuff, and cops really started cracking down on any sort of modified cars. And maybe also we got older. Don't really hang out in parking lots too much anymore.
Yeah, not too often anymore. Like we're not go out of our way to do this.
But you were one of the first people I saw with a gimbal in their hands, and I was like,
"Oh, really?
Holy crap! This dude is." I used to think it looked like a bird cage.
It kind of is in some way.
The Ronin
M, which I still have.
The big the gimbal's under it. None of that stick RS2, RS3.
Which I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of those personally, but I don't know. Their own.
I've only ever operated stick gimbals.
Yeah.
Because of budget, I guess.
Budget, ease of use, I guess.
Ease of use, transportability, and just quick setup. But so can you tell me a little bit about Mount Media Films?
Yeah, I can get
what it was, what it is, and kind of the name you operate under right now.
Yeah, so Mount Media Films, that was basically strictly based around the car stuff when I started, because I got really into the car scene then. I didn't have a car at the time. I never had a car at the time, but I started filming stuff because I wanted to. Yeah. And then it just kind of snowballed. My friend Kevin, who might watch this, will probably say Mount Media doesn't exist anymore because it's been on a hiatus and I haven't been posting for 2 years. Yeah. I've been busy. I've been a busy guy. Yeah. I kind of want to change that a bit more this summer since COVID's kind of let up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, Mount Media is strictly more of just automotive based. Okay. It's been built around the automotive scene. So I tried to market it a little bit towards my commercial work and more, I guess, professional side of things. Yeah. But it never really worked because everyone knew that brand as cars and car shows and things like that. Yeah. So that's basically the story for that. Kind of just keeping it for cars. Any car I shoot, I just throw it on that page, and it's good for the car scene here locally. Yeah, and a little bit Toronto, Montreal. But if I were to turn the page over to the Red Means Record thing, that's a bit more new. I'd say that started, I want to say a year ago or a year and a bit ago now. It clicked in my mind that I wanted to do this a lot more professional. I'm not saying I wasn't doing professionally before, but take a bit more action towards marketing myself in a more professional way. Yeah. So that's why Red Means Record came around.
Love that name, by the way.
I know, me too.
It's cool. It's so simple.
Well, yeah, because any camera you see that's recording video, more or less any camera, they have a little red light on it. Right. It usually means recording.
Yeah. Or stop.
Or stop too. A stoplight.
Stoplight. Red means go.
I mean, you don't have to listen to it. It's just there.
Yeah. An unsettling stat is a traffic light will have more legal authority over you. No, sorry. Traffic light will have more legal authority in this world than you will ever have. Unless you become a cop.
Unless you become a cop. Yeah, you don't want to get too far into that.
I'm just joking. Anyway, so Red Means Record is kind of that is where your focus is nowadays in doing the freelance work and working on sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been really driven lately on getting my business started for full time because I do work I work a day job currently as a media creator for content, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. So yeah, the Red Means Record, I want to start pulling that into the long term. People know what to hire me through. It's on, you guys can search up redmeansrecord.com. I'm gonna plug myself there a little bit.
It'll be in the description. Yeah, everyone on these shows, I'll always put their Instagram and their website down below, so that you can check them out and reach out to them if you want to talk to them. But cool.
Basically that's anyone who wants to get in contact with me doing full productions, post production work like this. Yeah. Anything like that. That's my more professional side. It's cool. An easier name to remember, I'd say. But more professional. So
yeah. I want to talk a little bit about, because we do share this similar passion to cars and clapped out Miatas apparently, even though they're not so clapped out.
They're not really clapped out.
So I don't even know where my passion. My father has been working with cars since I was a child. He would always bring home cars that he was working on. He worked for Volkswagen he still works for Volkswagen, so he's been with Volkswagen for so many years. So I've always been around him. On Saturdays I would go with him, and he'd go and fix cars and do like little side jobs, and I'd just go with him and hang out and watch. And I was always like, cool, this is cool, cars. Like, and then as I grew older, and it kind of materialized into having my own car, and then having race car. And now I have 4 cars, and everything
just starts snowballing.
A bit of a mess, and they're all over the place, but it's great.
Oh, it's so much fun.
But like, I love cars because of the experiences that they enable. Like, they bring you, like, cars brought us together.
Oh yeah.
And I
wouldn't have known you if I got in the car scene.
Absolutely not. And like, there's so many people that I'm friends with today. It's because of our shared passion for cars. And I love driving them. I love working on them. I love looking at them, photographing them. They actually got me into cameras, was cars. I
remember the past episode you said that. Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit about, like, where does your passion for cars come from, and how does that kind of translate into your camera work and stuff?
Passion for cars, I don't exactly know where it came from.
You don't know?
It didn't come from my dad.
No?
My dad's a military guy. He was around boats and airplanes. That's
didn't really care what he drove.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, for me, I don't exactly know where it came from. Like, same with my brother. I have a twin brother, by the way.
Yeah.
But for him, he's into cars too. He's a painter at a Mercedes-Benz now. We both worked at the same paint shop at Sketches Inc.
Nice.
But like, for both of us, we weren't into cars when we moved here back in 2014. We had no care about cars. We didn't want to start building one or anything like that. And then I think we went to a couple car meets with a buddy from Coors that we worked with.
Okay.
And then we're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Was it the Friday night meets?
No, well, that was one of them, but we went to Hazeldean down near
the old cars,
Road.
the classic cars?
Yeah, the classic car show, yeah. So we went there, and I was like, man, these cars are cool. I want something like a cool car like this. And then the more I went to car meets, I just started meeting more people. I met you. I met a friend group I'm now really close with. That it was just people within the scene, and it just kind of started from there. It was just like, we just kept going to these meets, and I started understanding how cars worked, and that you can easily quote unquote work on and afford them and modify them, is let alone a different story.
Yeah, when they're not rusty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, it just, how it started, it just kind of started with meeting people, I think, and then just went from there. I've owned too many cars in 4 short years.
Yeah.
I've 2 Miatas, 2 Golfs, and a Land Rover. That last one I should forget.
It's just all over the world.
It's just all over the world. It's German, British, and Japanese.
Yeah, and now you currently own 2 Miatas.
Own 2 Miatas.
Miata, if you don't know what it is the best-selling sports car in the world.
Miata is always the answer.
It's a Mazda. It started production, I think, in the late 80s, 89.
1989.
89 was the first year.
Yep.
And they make them to this day. They're on the 4th body style, 4th generation. They're still making them, and people from all over the world love them because they're lightweight, balanced, and really fun to drive, and they're cheap. Well, not so much. They're hard. The older ones are becoming vintage, but so Ryan, because he loves old cars, has 2 Miatas, not one. He has 2.
I didn't want to buy another Miata. The reason why I bought another one is because I had a Land Rover situation.
Yeah.
Where I sold my Golf GTI, which was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
I sold that for a Land Rover because I wanted to do more camping and off-roading stuff. That ended up turning into tearing apart the engine and rebuilding it.
Was it just like
head gaskets, spark plugs?
Bad?
It was bad.
Okay.
It was bad. Like radiator, like water, all of it. It was a lot more than I was expecting. I should have listened to my other friends. But yeah, I had to sell that because I got it rebuilt, got it working, sold it to a guy that came down from Hamilton. And then I was like, all right, it's right before winter. I need a car that I know how to work on. They're cheap, more or less cheap nowadays.
They're cheap on gas. They got tiny engines.
Cheap on gas, and I know they go through winter. So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a Miata. So I found this one in Pembroke.
You bought it before they got expensive too, eh?
Yeah. She want for the red one that I have. I have two. Like we said, I have two. I have a white one and a red one. The white one's the modified one. The red one is the winter daily.
Yeah.
That one I found in Pembroke or Petawawa for. She listed it for 65. I pointed out all the crap that was wrong with it, and then I got it down for like 42.
Nice.
So I negotiated really well, and that's cheap.
Now it's worth $20,000.
Well, I'm assuming like by the condition, it's actually not that bad. So I don't know, like sell it for like 8 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up needing something really quick, and it's been good ever since. Other than past couple of weeks, ball joints going out and
yeah. I mean, it is a 30-year-old car after all.
That's the thing. Like you're at the end of the day, you're getting into something that's old. Expect something to break.
Very well made, though.
At the end of the day, it's not a perfect car. It came from the 90s. It's going to have 90s issues.
Yeah, just like us. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. Wow.
What are the 90s?
Man, you just dated us real good.
96. So yeah, check out Ryan's Instagram. His nicer Miata, I guess he has a one for the winter, one for the summer. The one that he has built for the summer is just beautiful. It's like wide body, has custom touches. It's a really cool looking thing, and it's like, I have a Miata too, so I love meeting other people with the same car just to see how you built it, and then talk about how I built it, and then we can share ideas and all this stuff.
Because like that car's a personality, right?
It is
like how you build something, or same with video and content work. It's however you create something, it's how you express yourself. Yeah. Same with cars.
Absolutely. So. And even Luke was saying in our episode how like what you wear is another way of expressing yourself. And that may not be true to all people. Some people just they pick clothes for strictly functionality and utility, but that's one way to express yourself if you curate your outfits. But the cars are, for me, it was always a form of expression. Yeah. Because I've been developing my communication skills, and I still find myself trying to improve them, but cars were a way where I'm like, hey, this is a testament of what I can, put together with the resources that I have. And here it is. And seeing the way you built your other Miata gave me a very good idea and understanding of how your brain works. Cause I'm like, if you can build a car to this and maintain a car to this, and you're also dabbling in video, it gave me a good idea of how your brain works, and that's kind of why I wanted to work with you. So
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I really do. Yeah, like I perceive myself as someone who's very detail oriented. Nice. My car shows it. It's I don't miss really anything with it, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna fix it. So it's the same with video content. Like even anything I produce when it comes to video, I give it to the client, and I'm happy with it, and I know they're happy with it. I send it off, but I know deep down there's something I want to change, but there's a deadline, and you have to go to it. Yeah. So like,
just gotta get it out there.
You have to get it out there, and you have to accept that not everything can be absolutely perfect, because no one is.
No, nothing can be perfect, and then humans are imperfect, and that's why we get along, because we're all imperfect, and I think cars are imperfect, and that's why I love them, because they're flawed. Like they can be flawed, but then they can be great, but
it's a sticky slope.
It's a nightmare. We won't bore you too much with more car stuff, because we could make this entire.
I mean, we could go on and on about car stuff.
Car stuff. I freaking. Oh man, I love just driving and. Oh yeah. Pushing a car to its limits, and pushing myself as a driver to my limits is one of my favorite things in this world to do. And a lot of what I do is motivated by driving. Yeah. Like a lot of the work I do is to, enable me to be able to get back behind the wheel. And I'm in development of a race team, Pano Motorsports. It's an idea. But in my head, that's development for me. It exists. There's an Instagram page. And
I know. I've seen it.
It's coming to life slowly. It's one of those things I got to like marinate for a couple of years and bring it into existence. But the goal is to go full-fledged racing one day and have a full-on team and like race.
I'd like to do the
competitively.
Same.
And
like, we're already working together, so who knows?
Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. I just, nothing is off the table. Everything is possible.
Oh yeah.
It just takes time, and that's what I'm learning.
Like the one thing I always tell myself, nothing's gonna happen overnight. You just gotta work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like nothing's gonna be handed to you.
No.
Like nowadays with like the Gen Z people, they're like, I know I want this, I want that. Someone just give it to me, or like I want a E-Class Mercedes or like a C-Class or whatever. Like my mom will get it for me, but it's like my parents never bought me that. My parents never bought me a car, or phone, or anything like that. Anything that I wanted really
to work for it.
Like for an extent, like as like being a kid, but like for anything expensive or something I really really wanted, it's like my parents taught me to, work hard for it and you'll get it.
Yeah.
Like nothing's gonna be handed to you.
No, it's tough, and like I'm not perfect either, but I find the society we live in is entitlement is something that's easy to fall into a trap. You feel like you're entitled to things because of what you see others having, and you see all these examples of perfectly curated life and perfect videos. Everything just looks so good on the internet, and then you're like, crap, I suck, man. Like it takes me a week to make a video, and like, these people are out here pumping out videos, and like, the comparison is a killer, and it's the biggest challenge I face with modern social media consumption is trying to control. I'm like, hey, I want to contribute. I want to share what's going on. I want to stay relevant and show people what we're doing and make cool content, but then I get lost. Yeah. I get lost in consumption. So I don't know if you can relate to that, or if you have any ways of combating that. Do you ever find yourself getting kind of consumed by
all the time.
Being a user? Yeah.
All the time. Like things with like TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that, you can like start scrolling. And you guys talked about this in past episodes, that you just get lost. You can start scrolling, and then an hour goes by. You're just like, okay, now what? I just lost an hour of productivity that I can be doing for something else. And it just sucks. It's just how it is. And like for me to combat that, it's working with other people.
Okay.
If I'm like left in a room by myself with like, like a bed, or like something really comfortable nearby, or a good, like a cup of coffee or something like that, I'm just like, I gotta take a good hour just to relax. And it's like it's not good, and like I beat myself up about it a lot. But working with other people like you and the connections I've been making recently, it's been pushing me a lot more. And this past year has been a big improvement on myself when it comes to productivity and expanding my knowledge with working with others, and other film sets and things like that. So like for me, combating all of that is just stay motivated, keep pushing, and always think that if you stop, it's just going to hurt yourself in the long run. So keep your head held high and just keep going.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
At the end of the day, the only person stopping you and putting you where you want to be is yourself.
Yeah,
right?
it's always
no one's gonna stop you from what you want to do. Other than yourself, like you're the worst person to beat yourself up with, because other people can do it as well, but you're always your worst critic, and you just have to kind of forget about all that, because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm like going on like a train of thought here,
okay.
but like
I can totally relate to those thoughts, and my method is by just like not going on these platforms, like trying to wake up and not go on my phone. Wake up and just get some light in my eyes from the sky, not from
do you
a
use
screen.
your phone to wake up in the morning?
Not at all.
You don't?
Not even like
smart.
There was a time in my life where I thought like waking up in full brightness was gonna wake me up, but now it's like wake up and crank that curtain right open to the max and open my eyes and like feel the burn, and sometimes eyes water. And then another practice I've been trying to do is going outside within 15 minutes of waking up. Going outside and soaking in daylight, like a freaking plant. I can relate to plants, man, because I love water.
Do you need some water?
I have some water here. My girlfriend Sarah calls me a plant because of how much water I drink.
That's good though.
But I like water. I didn't like.
Same here.
It's one of the most satisfying beverages, and I guess I would hope so, because
drink your water.
Keeps us alive.
Stay hydrated.
Exactly. Stay hydrated. But so we'll kind of, I have a couple questions I want to ask you in regards to your process as a creative. I know you've done some really cool video pieces, telling stories of people and their cars, and some really beautiful cinematography and some
thank you.
interesting aspect ratios on YouTube that are like rectangular.
Rectangular, yeah.
You need to figure out how the heck you did that. But what's your process for creating a story or creating a visual piece?
For me, where I can really get the ball rolling is music.
Okay.
I think Jared from Ajax.
Yeah.
He does the same thing.
Music.
Music.
So he would listen to soundtracks from films, is what he
That's
said.
what I did when I was in high school.
Really?
Well, I would
That's so cool.
when I was grade 12, or I still do it nowadays, every now and then. But like thinking of a new project, I'm like, all right, how am I gonna kind of get this ball rolling? I think of like listen to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, or like The Hobbit, which is like my favorite film series ever. Peter Jackson.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
Sorry.
I should just get up. And
I should leave now. You can finish the episode.
Like Peter Jackson's films, The Hobbit, all those soundtracks from those, and just sitting there and hearing them really starts your brain rolling on what can really suit that, what type of style.
Okay.
If it's like futuristic or modern or medieval or things like that, or Middle Earth. To me, music is just something that can really expand your creativity beyond just what you're thinking. Because if you're just sitting there by yourself in dead silence, it's going to be pretty hard to somehow bring some sort of creativity rolling. So to me, like, soundtracks, or, looking at inspirational photos online when it comes to like, Google search, or, search up a certain framing. There's one website, I forgot, it's like Frame Shot or something. It's like basically a website full of basically screenshots from films.
Film frames, right?
Film frames.
I think I've seen that website too.
Yeah, and you can just see a frame from a shot, and you're like, okay, that's exactly what I want to do for something like this. What can match? Like, what song can match that? Like, okay, perfect. And like once I have a song idea laid down, kind of start going off that, and then I start thinking of, what type of actors or what type of genre it'll be and all that. So music's a big thing. That's basically where I start most of my work. I go on Artlist every now and then. I'll just like listen to stuff. I'm like, this is awesome. Like for one video on my Mount Media page, the Carlos's Wide Body Beetle.
Yeah, I love that video.
A lot of that video was conceptualized and thought of and understood by looking at another video that I found online. It was kind of the same style. It was basically like he was filming cars. This guy's like does like car videos, but it's like very cinematic, and using a Tiffin Pro Mist to get the blooms and everything like that. And I was like, I want to make content like this. Like, this is literally the type of style that I want to start doing. And I was like, all right, time to do it. So for that video, I found soundtracks on Artlist that would match perfectly. Thought of camera angles, how I wanted to start with him walking up to the garage door of the barn, and then I was like, sweet, all right, here we go. And then just kind of lay it out, and it's done great. And that's just kind of how I start getting ideas. It's just looking at other people's content and how I can kind of not copy it, but turn it into my own, if that makes sense. Because I personally drive towards more the cinematic. Like, everyone says cinematic.
The blanket statement.
The blanket statement.
But I get
everyone says it. Like,
I know, I'm familiar with your style of that kind of.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a moodier aesthetic.
Moodier and warmer, I'd say, like softer. Yeah, and that's what I like. To me, it's just it just looks so beautiful in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Promists are the nicest things.
So nice. And I recently picked up a Promise with ND built in.
Nice. Those are the NDs I use.
Oh really?
Are they the Polar Pro ones?
No, this is a something effects.
Okay. Prism lens effects? No. Doesn't matter.
I think it was a.
But ND Mist is one of my favorite things to use outdoor.
Oh, it's so nice. You don't have to stack filters then. And for majority of the time, I always have a Pro Mist or some sort of mist filter on the front of my lens, regardless of what I'm shooting.
Can you explain what a mist filter does for people who may not know what it is?
Yeah. I know you know it, but basically what a Pro Mist is, it's a circular not polarizer, but circular disc that goes on the front of your lens. And it's basically has like specks all over it, or like dust pretty much. Yeah. And what it does, it softens the light going from outside into your lens. And what it does, it takes all your highlights and your shadows, and it kind of raises them a little bit, but it softens the highlights a bit too. Yeah. So it softens your highlights and it raises up your shadows, so you have a bit more dynamic range. But all the like basically direct light into the lens, or like off the edge of your screen, will be bloomed out. So you'll get a really nice, like, I guess, not slightly dreamy.
It is kind of dreamy.
Kind of dreamy.
Or
It's not overly done. Like, it depends on what
but
stop
that
you get.
cinematic look is that, like,
Yeah.
it's not extremely tack sharp and
Yeah.
like everything is like, I use mist to combat using photo lenses for video because
Okay.
photo lenses are very sharp
Very
lenses.
sharp.
And I don't want an extremely sharp looking image like on the Sony A7S III. It's just like a very, very high resolution thing. And I'll use the ND mist to kind of soften that a bit and just make it like a bit nicer. But
Yeah, and then that's the one thing that
I didn't know it gives you more dynamic range. That's cool.
A little bit, yeah. Like
bit,
if you put it like on and off in your camera, you can kind of see it. Like maybe look at your
Look
shadows.
at the histogram.
Yeah, and you'll see your
change a bit.
shadows will go up just a little bit. It's not very much,
Okay.
but it just a little bit. You bring your shadows up a little bit, so
That's cool.
it's helpful in some way in that realm, especially if you're not shooting on like a 14 stop 10-bit camera.
Yeah.
Like it's if you're shooting on 8-bit with like 5 stops, like it's gonna help in some way. But yeah, like that's basically what a ProMist does.
That's cool.
It's just always in my arsenal. Always.
I like it. You use the music to then inspire the flow and like the unfolding of events, and
Exactly.
you combine inspiration from other videos with songs, and then you create video,
exactly.
right? That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
And I'm going to link some of Ryan's videos from his YouTube channel. The video with Carlos's Beetle, it's like a Beetle from the 70s?
It's like a 1978, I think, or something. I don't exactly remember the date. Don't quote me on it.
It's an old.
It's an old Super Beetle.
Yeah.
And the guy basically just took the car, and he originally just restored it. And he was like, all right, like it's clean. And Carlos is his name. He's a great guy. He's so humble.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, I'm going to do something crazy. So he cuts the fenders, put crazy copper wide body on it, and then puts a motorcycle engine in the back.
Absolutely nuts.
I'm like, all
it's
right.
on air suspension.
Yeah,
And
that
the
too.
shifter is a shotgun,
Which is ridiculous.
which is
Like,
just, or the armrests are
the armors
shotguns.
are shotgun, yeah.
It's just such
one
a
crazy
cool
car.
expression of his personality.
Yep.
And Ryan captured that like so beautifully. And it's just like, it's a very pleasant film to watch. Even if you're not into cars, it's just nice to see, to learn about the story of a man and his old ass Beetle.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And like I would change a lot on that video now that I look back on it. Like, I have a lot more gear now that I could use to fix all of the things that I had.
But it wouldn't be what it was if you had all the gear.
Exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't be what it turned out to be.
Yeah, Justin said, he likes to, he's at a point in his career where he can, in theory, buy any piece of equipment he wants.
Yeah.
But he likes to be in a situation where he has less, so he can be challenged by that. And I think if at the time maybe you had all that gear, you may not have done it the same way.
Well, exactly. Like it when you have, I think I possibly said the less gear you have kind of pushes you to go expand what you can do.
Yeah.
Because you're now limited. Like if you're given an ARRI Alexa and all this audio gear and all these expensive $40,000 lenses and all that, you can quote unquote make a good video.
Yeah.
But you need a lot of experience behind it. But if you have a less gear, it pushes you to use what you have in ways that you wouldn't be able to, compared to if you had all this other gear that can make you do it really easily.
Yeah, you got to struggle a little bit and be limited. I had a professor at university who would always say in his British accent, struggling builds character.
Yeah.
And that just glued into my mind because every time I'm in a situation where I'm like, oh, I'm struggling, I'm tired, I'm busy, I'm stressed, you got bills, you got this, there's just a multitude of just things that you're bogging you down. And you feel like you're really struggling, but then it kind of really does build the character. And if I always try to hold the perspective of my parents, for example, who grew up in Lebanon. They were born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. And that was a very turbulent place. It was not life wasn't as easy as it is in North America. And knowing the things that they went through to get to where they are today and build the family that they did, I look at that as a perspective and I'm like, what am I stressed about?
Yeah.
I have everything I need. There's a million opportunities at my fingertips. All I got to do is just buckle down and work for it.
So do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So struggling builds a lot of character.
Oh, absolutely.
That was the worst class I've ever taken. It was called econometrics. I studied economics, and this was just I'll tell you, I didn't understand a freaking single thing. if it wasn't for the bell curve where they take the average and boost everyone's grade, I wouldn't have passed. I think I got like a D in that class. Just
Oh man,
ridiculous.
but look what you're at now. Like,
made
look
it
what you're
through.
doing now.
Talking into a microphone.
I mean, like it's better than being stuck behind a desk.
No,
all
for
day.
sure. I mean,
right?
all power to. Like I admire people who get up every day and go to a 9 to 5 and get it done, and they do it week after week after week. Because I don't even think I could do that. Like I don't think I have that much ability to wake up at the same time every day.
Yeah.
And do that.
I do that
challenging.
Now, and I'm used to it, but like I want to stray away from it. Like believe me, what I'm doing is fine, but I want to do basically, I want to be my own boss. That's the end goal, is to do my own thing, and making the connections where that's looking like it's gonna be possible within a couple months or so, possibly.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. You just gotta leap, and like for anyone listening, and I know our audience is. Let me know in the audience what do you do? I'm just curious, like the demographic.
Yeah.
But I from what I understand, there's a whole range of people that listen to this podcast, which is really cool. But I'm just curious, like what people are doing, what are you working on currently, and what are you looking forward to, and what are you looking forward to? Are there any projects that you have worked on recently, or things that are coming up that you're excited about?
I'm trying to think of this. Okay, well, I mean,
you're doing some music videos stuff.
Yeah, I've been doing some music videos recently with another creative guy who maybe he'd be interested in coming onto the show. I'll have to ask him, but he's from Toronto, so it'd have to be like when he's shooting here in Ottawa? The studio that we shoot at. His name's Andrew McLennan.
Okay.
AMX Visuals, for example, for his business name. But yeah, like he basically shoots like a lot of music videos. He does some wedding stuff in the summer, but he does a lot of music videos. He's done a music video with Alicia Cara last winter, I think, which was pretty cool. And I got in contact with him. I've known him for a while because I known him when I got into the car scene back in 2017. He was also there in 2017.
Into cars?
He was like kind of into cars. He never really modified anything, but he was there with his gimbal, like filming stuff like so I was.
Very likely seen him, but don't know who
you probably have, yeah. And I seen him, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I talked to him a little bit every now and then and everything. And then over the years, this past summer, I finally started working with him. So now I've been working as a first AC on his shoots. So setting up the red,
that's cool.
Tearing it down, changing it over to shoulder rig, easy rig, all that stuff.
Back to gimbal, back to shoulder.
Oh my God,
gimbal,
that's a lot of work. Like
it's good.
It's good experience though.
Yeah,
exactly. And it makes me more confident to go on bigger sets, to be in a first AC, focus puller, things like that. So that's what I'm really grateful for what he was able to do for me and finally bring me in.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing more work with him. I think we have another shoot possibly coming up soon back at the studio here in Ottawa and Greeley. That studio is Leah Studio. Light is Art.
That's a cool space.
It's a great space.
It's like a full sound stage.
It's a full sound stage, full lighting grid up on DMX lighting, all colors you need, everything. They'll do a video wall too. It's beautiful place.
That's nuts.
The guy is wonderful. Like
the owner of the studio.
Yeah, Rob, I think his name is.
That's cool.
From what I remember.
Yeah, I had
Great
no
guy.
idea until you told me about that.
And like
so many things in Ottawa that are very low key.
No joke. It's literally on a barn. Like it's like it's on a farm.
That's so
the guy
cool.
doesn't own the farm. He just rents out the building, and he built his thing. I'm like, holy crap! Like you wouldn't expect that to be out there, and like he does a great job.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. There's so many places in the city you don't know about until you start meeting other creatives. So that's why I started working with Andrew, and so I've been doing a lot of music video stuff lately. Affinity Productions out in Carp. I finally got in contact with them.
Nice.
And I'm on their roster for freelance workers, and I ended up landing a gig for some sort of job in June. So that's good. I'm kind of looking forward to that. That's like a full week of work, dude. And it's going to be, I think it's like a full film set or something like that.
Yeah.
I got to get more info on it, but that one I'm looking forward to. More music videos, of course, and then some of my own projects. I'm still kind of working on things. There's a lot going on. There's another guy in the car scene we might start working with.
Nice.
Pantheon Garage I told you about.
Yeah.
Doing some video stuff for their YouTube content. But yeah.
Just keep building, man.
I've just been
you lay it brick. You see this wall. The bricks were laid from the bottom up. That's how it would get me through weeks. And I mean, I'm not saying like I made it, but like I'm definitely further along than I was 3 years ago. But what got me through the grinding and the 7-day work weeks was I'm laying the bricks foundation. I'm building a foundation brick by brick by brick. And and I'm just, you slowly go up, and so often you take a step back or take a step away and you look at, you know, what you've accomplished and stuff. And I find that's kind of fuel to keep going. And
oh yeah, for sure.
you just, obviously the scary thought is like, is this sustainable? Is this feasible? Can I make a living? But I find the more you focus on how can I give an excellent service? How can I give the best work and be the best possible operator or whatever you're doing, I find everything else just falls into place.
Yeah.
Everything it figures itself out, the other stuff.
And it comes down to like being a good business owner too. Like you have to have a good head on your shoulders. You can't just like slack off and
you just have to be organized, man. And that's what I learned. Like organize everything, every component of the business needs to be organized. The money, the equipment, the emails. If you have an email inbox with over let's say it's over 20 emails in there and they're not from just today. You know, like if you have hundreds of emails in your inbox, like it's going to be hard when a new one comes in to see that you have someone emailing you. Is that you?
Oh, no.
Okay.
My email is...
I see you looking there like, shit, that's me.
No. No, my email is so organized. Like you have your own folder. Anything that you send to me goes into there. And then same with AMX visuals and everything. Like it's I'm like, every time I see my email every day and I always open it. I see if it's necessary to hold on to or not. And then I clean it up.
Oh, you delete emails? I only started making email folders like,
I only delete them if I know I need to delete them. Like any email I have like from you or my clients and stuff, I always have.
You keep them? Okay.
Oh yeah. Same with like invoices and things like that. Like I never delete. You always need them back up. So yeah.
That's cool, man. So here's a bit of a fun question. If you could shoot in any location with any subject in the world, what would it be and where would it be?
Johnny Depp in New Zealand.
Not expecting that. Can you elaborate?
One, Johnny Depp is a great actor.
Okay.
Captain Jack Sparrow, probably like my favorite character. One of my favorite characters on like cinema. Yeah. Like it's just the accent he does on. It's just like I also love like pirate crap.
Okay.
I like it. It's so cool. Yeah. Like they build a boat out of wood. Yeah. Like
that's nuts. And
you do that today, it'll probably sink. Like
exactly.
But yeah, like just like he's just a good actor in like New Zealand, mainly because of the Lord of the Rings series and The Hobbit, because that's my favorite franchise.
Okay.
So it's always been a dream to me to go to like Hobbiton and see that. So
see the locations of the
film? To film Captain Jack Sparrow running around in Hobbiton would be like amazing.
That's gold. I've been told once by a friend who went to New Zealand that it's kind of like Canada just condensed. So like you get all the great things of Canada, like forests, oceans, mountains. Yeah. But it's all in a much smaller all the fields, but it's in a much smaller land mass. So like you can get from the mountains to the, like here, if you want to drive to BC, you're in for a 4-day drive or whatever.
12 day. I've done it.
Thousands of kilometers. Depends how it's far. It's really far.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's a 6-hour flight.
It takes 24 hours just to get out of our province.
Yeah. It's nuts. Like I went to British Columbia for the first time after living in Canada for many years. I went there for the first time late last year and I was just like,
it was great, eh?
I forgot that I was in Canada. Yeah. Like completely. It's we were up in the mountains. Yeah. We met some people and I was like, I'm licensed to fly drones in Canada. Then he's like, we're in Canada. I'm like, oh, so I'm licensed to fly drones. Oh, right.
We haven't crossed the border yet.
I forgot, but I've heard New Zealand is kind of beautiful in that sense. Yeah. You get all of it. The coasts, the Rocky Mountains, snow.
It's really rainy there apparently, which I'm fine with. Like I'll take rain over snow any day.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't care. It also looks nice on camera.
Yeah, like dark and moody.
Snow is I love dark and moody, but like snow is always overexposed. So
it really is. You look at your Instagram, you just
it is. I had to shoot interior photos for some jobs where I currently work for like a renovation we did, and like you have to do an exposure stack to get exposure inside the house right compared to what outside is. Meanwhile, you have to stop down 8 times to get all the snow to be at least exposed in some way. So, but yeah, I take rain.
Nice. Yeah. So a rainy day with Johnny Depp in New Zealand with a sheep.
Yep.
Nice.
Just hold his hand and go for a stroll.
I can already imagine him just frolicking around and
that'd be great.
You're running after him with a gimbal.
Exactly.
Or whatever,
he does a little like Captain Jack Sparrow run that he does. Like
Johnny, come back. Johnny Depp, if you ever listen to this podcast, please help us make this happen.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And Yeah, man.
I'll pay for your plane ticket too.
No, please, no. You pay for our plane ticket. You're Jack Sparrow.
That's true.
Get some gold from your pirate ship and fund this trip. I really was not expecting that.
Yeah,
I was expecting like some sort of tropical car location.
What? Oh no. Well, like Monaco or something?
I don't know. I was just expecting like a car.
Yeah. No.
But
no.
That's cool.
Like cars are cool, but like they don't talk. That's the thing.
Do.
Well, yeah, in other ways and other like their engine does.
Yeah. That's funny. So what do you want to see? This is a bit about the creatives. Is there anything you want to see for the creatives as a show? Is there anything that's
a good question?
You look at the creatives, you're like, that'd be cool, or guests? I'm just curious.
Well, obviously more guests, like more different types of guests, or like more other creators. People from different cities would be cool.
That would be
cool. So like bring people like Andrew from Toronto. He has plenty of experience of doing stuff. Like he'd be really cool to pick your brain with. Yeah. He's got plenty to talk about. I think there's a couple people in Montreal that are pretty sweet. So like more interesting people. Not saying anyone on the show so far has not been interesting at all. Everyone on the show so far has been absolutely amazing. I've loved every single episode. I can properly say I've watched every single one because I've edited every single one and at least heard it 3 times in a row.
That's great.
Getting the listen counts up there.
Yeah, man. Boost those stats.
Exactly. Yeah, just listen to it while I'm at work. Which I do sometimes. Yeah. But more people. Like I know you did like different locations before. Like you did like in a park with Francis.
Yeah, Francois.
Francois. Sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies,
All
Francois. But yeah, like different locations would be
outdoor.
cool.
I want to bring those back, but it gets
obviously
warmer outside.
It's like end of winter here.
The part I love the outdoor set because there's no
so
lighting.
Cool. Well, yeah,
it's just
you just shoot outside.
Stick a camera on a tripod, put the mics down, plug in the recorder, and go.
Yeah, there you go.
So
the only thing you have to deal with is just like if overcast changes, and all that, which happened on the first one that you did.
I think there was a bit of clouds.
Yeah, like the color grade and exposure was great in the beginning, and then it shifted, and I was like, man, like I don't want to start changing levels as it goes along, but that's the only
keyframe color.
Exactly. Yeah, bringing the highlights a little bit as it goes.
Yeah.
Outdoor
locations. There was good feedback from the mix and match of sets, and I personally like it. I find it's a cool atmosphere being outside and chatting. I also love shooting in controlled environments like we are today.
Oh, a controlled studio is great.
This is nice because it's much more structured and, as I said, controlled. So we can schedule a time to shoot. I can have it ready for the person to show up, and no one's gonna be barging in and screaming, or Buddy's gonna be cutting the grass down the road over there.
And like you're not dealing with weather too.
Yeah.
But like if it's gonna rain all of a sudden or something, which is nice, or a big gust of wind blows something
blows
down.
Things over. But we'll do it for sure. The outdoor stuff will be fun. That's cool to know. Yeah. So I know tech is, we're drowning in options for cameras.
Oh my God, there's so much.
For gear, for lighting, for everything. So like, as things advance and continue to advance, where do you see our industry of, video? Where do you see it going, and where do you see yourself in it?
Man, well, it's getting pretty in depth, I want to say. Especially with past episode, I think with AI conversation.
Talking with Mike about that.
Yeah, like AI is getting so ridiculous. It's like
it's pretty handy though.
Yeah, you can get it to write your LinkedIn profile if you really want to.
Rate your LinkedIn?
No, or write
a profile.
Like write a LinkedIn profile, like any profiles now, which is crazy. It's like at that point, we're kind of losing jobs at that point, and it kind of puts us in a sticky situation too, because since we make creative visual content, when it comes to photos especially, you can easily go onto an AI site and search up, I want Ramzi sitting on a horse with a sombrero, and throw that on.
Yeah.
And you're going to get that, and it might be pretty accurate if you give it a reference photo.
That's crazy.
Which is insane. But
there's also some controversial and potentially harmful implications of being able to create any sort of image that way.
Yeah.
It's just, it is scary.
It's really scary. And like the AI stuff doesn't concern me too much because I haven't really dabbled into it. I don't really plan to.
It's useful. There's a really cool one where you can upload to Adobe. It's an Adobe thing where it'll take like just shitty cell phone audio and make it sound like these microphones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
like
that's kind of cool.
Can just take Crispy Media. He's a creator.
Yeah.
He took audio that he recorded from a car of a GTR like revving up,
I think I've heard
and then
that.
go like turbo fluttering.
Yeah.
And he put it in the AI, and it was the funniest. Like,
Oh man,
it tried to turn it into a human's voice.
Oh really? Oh, you have to send me
And
that.
it was just like he just started screaming.
Oh, I need to see that now. That'd be
funny.
great.
So where do you see yourself then? Like, where do you see yourself in the future? Are you gonna fight this, or are you gonna use it to your advantage?
Like fight the AI,
Like, not fight it, like
or
physically.
fight the technology in general.
Like, are you gonna stay old school and like kind of stick to your ways, or do you wanna?
I want to adapt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like a little bit of the old school style things.
Yeah.
It's weird because like when I was at a shoot today, customer was like, "Oh, it's like old school. You got the whole camera and everything." I'm like,
As opposed to what?
It's a Sony A7 III. Like, it's not really old school, but I guess so.
As opposed to what, a phone?
Yeah, she was saying like, I'm surprised you must have a phone. I'm like, oh man, there goes like nowadays people just take Google Pixel ads lately. Of just like I don't use my SLR, but now I got a Google Pixel.
The
It's
phone
like,
cameras are nuts.
which are crazy. I don't know if I had Android, so that's just potato quality. But yeah, like I want to adapt a bit more.
Okay.
But I like just a little bit of the old style things and sticking to what the roots are.
Nice.
Because if you start dabbling into the too much of a complex side of things of like everything's wireless or just the user interface is so advanced, it's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Like what happens just to an on switch and off switch and then like a quick dial.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like you need one app to control 5 other things to do one other thing. It's just like it's a little much.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the whole I guess analog side of things because it's just simple and it's redundant too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's why I love shooting on cinema cameras because they are, in a sense, they kind of are analog with no autofocus, no stabilization.
Yeah, and that's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I love shooting manual mode with
manual
a focus.
Just
it's so nice.
It's a thing that used to scare the crap out of me. My friend Felix, we worked together a lot, and he would he would just like screw autofocus. It sucks, like, and I was just scared. I'm like, but I need autofocus because my camera's on a gimbal.
But then you realize after the fact that you have focus breathing, and your shots are ruined. And I was like,
because when an autofocus misses focus, it's pretty horrendous. But when a human misses focus, just by a little bit, it's so forgivable.
Yeah, you can fix it pretty quick.
Yeah, but you could fix it. But like, if you pull the focus a bit too far and you go off the eyes and back on, if that's done by a human hand turning an actual focus on a lens, I find that is way less distracting than like
oh my god,
like back and forth autofocus hunt.
Like all of a sudden everything goes out of out of focus and it's just blur.
Yeah,
which is I hate when that happens.
Yeah,
like especially when like you get back home, you offload your footage and the 2 shots you took for redundancy are both out of focus. Because you want to do a backup.
So the sweaty hands start.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh
I'm
shit,
doomed.
I gotta call a client now. Which those are the worst situations. But regardless,
gotta own up, eat it, and
exactly.
just carry on.
That's the thing. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with all the autofocus stuff and where technology's going, it's just keep it simple, stupid. Right? That's what I like to go by.
Yeah.
Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. Next thing you know, AI is gonna be replacing all of us. Taking over the world. I don't think that's going to happen. No. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, human to human connection cannot be replaced by anything.
Absolutely.
It can be supplemented. It can be enhanced. It can be, it can't be replaced. Like these conversations and, shaking someone's hand and giving someone a hug or high five, whatever it is, like just feeling and experiencing something together with someone like that can never be replaced. And
I mean, I guess you can have like 2 computers talk to each other, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
right? There's
so boring.
No emotion or tone of voice and all that. So
yeah, it's true. And I mean, so as gear advances and as I progress, I start not really caring about the gear. I like to purchase and use quality pieces of equipment that are going to last, that I only have to buy once, because I've made so many mistakes of buying it cheaper and buying it twice or buying it 3 times and just like having a hard time. So, there's so many options out there, but I'm sticking. I've been using my 2 main cameras. I'm still using them in this year, and I'm probably going to still use them for the next couple of years as time goes on. And
because like it will come to a point where you're going to need to upgrade in some way, because at the end of the day, like, the thing is with 4K footage and 4K video, that's not going anywhere. No. Like 4K is now the standard pretty much. Yeah. And I don't really see any purpose to have your normal TV at home streaming at 6K. Like it's nice to shoot in 6K because you can, you know, you can
It's
punch
not even
in if you
streaming
need
in
to.
6K.
Well, that's the thing.
It's
Not even
upscaled 4K.
streaming. It's just more the fact of the shooter and editing and post. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just the redundancy of, you know, having that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, with it all, like, you know, you're not using anything past 4K, and like there is a limit on what your gear can do. And you know, people say, you know, don't limit yourself, or like gear's not like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not the gear, it's the photographer behind it, which is kind of true. But
Yeah.
at some point, I think it was mentioned in the previous episode that gear does come into a factor.
Yeah.
And
At a certain level of,
Yeah.
I guess, experience.
like
it
if you've been
comes in.
shooting for 6 years, 7 years, and you're shooting on a little point and shoot like Sony or whatever, like if you bring it to a film shoot, you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, that's what you're shooting on. Like,
Yeah, you may
they're
be
gonna
right.
judge you a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes you
Like-
just gotta flex, set up every single piece of equipment you have, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
shoot on that point
Yeah.
and shoot.
Show you mean business sometimes. Like it's that's true though. Like
Yeah.
you go on a shoot and you bring out good gear and you do good content and you see what you have. It's like, all right, this guy's kind of serious.
Mhm.
But if you're standing there with one tripod and a camera just mounted to it and nothing else, you're like, huh? Are we gonna hire this guy again? I don't know.
Pay $5,000.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my money going?
Yeah.
No, it's funny. It's freaking gear. Anyway, don't try not to be limited by
Yeah. What you have.
the
and
tools you
all that.
have, because they do not matter.
Mm-mm.
And if you need something, you just rent it. Shout
Yes.
out Origin Camera Rental.
Hey, there you go.
I love that place so much, just because like
There's so much you can.
you
have.
can rent literally like the coolest stuff,
Yeah.
like the coolest lenses. You know, $80,000 set of lenses we
Mhm.
did on a project. The Zeiss, the RE Ultra
It was
Primes.
the RE Ultra Primes. Yeah.
We rented the RE Ultra Primes and a Blackmagic Ursa 12K, and
Oh.
we just had all this just beautiful gear. I may have gotten a bit excited and rented
That was
more.
a little overload.
I
for
think
what
I
we were
went a
doing.
little over what we needed, but
Yeah.
it was it's cool to have.
It was cool though. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
working with bigger gear. Like it's
Mhm.
fun. Yeah.
And that project actually just wrapped up. We shot.
Yes, I watched
We
that the other
did
day.
an office tour for Accessibility Standards Canada, where we showcased all of the new standard of accessibility features that are going to be kind of the baseline for federal government offices. And it was this whole series of videos we shot. Ryan was on the crew with a couple other guys, and I'll drop that on. That'll be dropped on Pano Media's Insta, but that's besides the point. Ryan, that was a cool episode. It was nice to chat with you.
Yeah,
it was nice
was
to. Even though I knew you, now I feel like I know you more.
Yeah, no, same here. Because like there's more beyond just what you know someone of what they do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to get in depth with that because
Yeah.
you don't get that very often.
It's the
So-
I love this series or this show because it's giving context. It's
Mhm.
breaking down that prejudice that, like, you know, you may judge someone based on the things they put on the internet because you're
Yep.
only getting 0.5% of who they are, and you're
Yeah.
seeing what they choose to share. And I find this, for me, it's helping me to understand who you are and who
Yeah.
all these other guests are. And it's also for the people that watch it and you share it on your profile, and then people who've seen your work will know that you're just a human too, and then
Yeah.
you struggle with same things as they do, and you're just trying to find your way. And it's cool, and it's I'm genuinely like humbled to have the opportunity to chat with you and chat with all the other guests that have been and all the other guests that will be on future episodes. So we're gonna keep chugging along.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
gonna keep making episodes
Oh yeah,
at 20
there's
episodes.
plenty to come. I like watching all the episodes like on my own time while I'm editing because
Yeah.
like I get to see it before all of you, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
But then I get to learn about all these cool people that I
Yeah.
can hopefully meet up with in the future.
Next
So.
thing you know, I got people bribing you for like the pre-screening. Yo, Ryan,
Yeah, I know.
give
It's
me
like,
the
hey,
files.
send me the link. Like,
Send me the link before
send me the
it goes-
unlisted link. I'm like,
That'll be
I don't
funny
know
if
about
it gets to that point where it
Oh my
starts getting
God.
like pirated. I'm just gonna laugh and be like, "This is great.
that. Yeah, yeah. It's like,
we
oh,
have
here
we
go.
have been pirated. We are officially successful." But we will have it the creatives mixer. It's just I don't know. That idea is just stuck in my head.
That will happen. Make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Make it
That'll be
happen.
fun. Have
Yeah.
everybody in one place.
That and some sort of other sort of community initiatives that I want to do, which involve more than just people on the show.
Yeah.
But just something where the creatives can further materialize into a community or just like a platform where people can just talk and stuff.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Get to know each other and, grow. And,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
That'd be sick.
So before we wrap up, I got a couple. I've been enjoying doing these rapid fire
I know.
questions.
I've been
I don't know if
craving
you
them all.
read them briefly from my notes. But
No, I totally forgot you had the book. So
The book. The notebook. Yes, I prep notes.
Yes,
And
he
I go
does.
to all of your websites. So if you want to be on this show, just know that I'm going to your website and I'm going to get information from there because that's how I get to
Yeah.
know about the things you do. But
Yeah.
fix your website
If it doesn't work or if it's not renewed, renew it now.
do it. It's just good. I mean, it's not for me really. I may hire you actually. That's not true. It is for me. It is very possible that I will hire you. So manual or automatic?
Manual.
Nice.
Manual. Sometimes automatic though. Sometimes you need a break.
You have to pick one.
Manual all day, but sometimes your left leg needs a break.
You have to pick one.
Manual.
Okay. Manual. It's one or the other. Yeah. Rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, or all wheel drive?
Rear wheel drive.
Nice.
Always rear wheel drive.
Always, eh?
Always. Well, I mean, all wheel drive's nice. Like front wheel drive's just terrible. But all wheel drive is nice to have sometimes, like in the winter.
Yeah.
But like any other time of year, rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
Even in the winter.
Yeah.
My Miata's in the winter is a rear wheel drive Miata in the winter.
Just full side in the snow.
The amount of times I went sideways, and the amount of times cops have looked at me, I'm just like, I don't care. It's so much fun.
Bleep.
Yeah. Literally middle of the intersection. I'm just like full sideways, and I have people staring at me.
Well, I'm just gonna say you have no choice.
I have no choice.
Definitely not on purpose.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one I like to ask everyone: sunrise or sunset?
Oh, man, I gotta think about that one. That one's difficult. Cause, man, I don't like that one.
You have to pick.
I have to. Obviously, I'm gonna pick.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Sunrise.
Okay. Cool.
Because I can sit outside, watch the sun go up with a coffee in my hand.
Nice. I guess
that's
it set is
especially when you're camping.
Sunrise outdoors after staying up all night.
Yep.
Is one of the most magical in the summer. I might add.
Oh, it's so nice. Especially at a cabin.
Because it starts getting warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer, and then until you're like sweating and you're like, whoa.
You're like, all right, now I'm awake.
But now I need to sleep because I just stayed up all night.
Because see, the sunset those aren't that good because like for us, we're sometimes in a parking lot and like you don't really get to enjoy the sunset because there's just a bunch of loud cars around. So it's like it's fun, but like there's no water or like nearby. So sunrise.
Sunrise in a bush somewhere.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
And then if you have to use one camera for the next 5 years. Just one camera. This is one single. Obviously, you can attach a lens and mount a monitor or whatever.
Yeah,
but you put on
the body itself.
Yeah, you use one camera body for the next 5 years.
Oh man, that's a new one. I haven't heard that.
I know
one yet.
this is coming out of left field.
Man, there's so many though. That's the thing. There's so many. Like does it video or photo, or can it be both?
It's gonna be your only camera. So.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, it'll help if it does photo too. I
haven't really used the camera yet, but I've held it in my hand from AMX Visuals. Has it? Sony FX3.
Nice.
The little new
FX30?
Yeah, FX30. FX30, not FX30.
Really? That's your choice.
Oh, sorry, not FX. No, not the FX30. The 3 FX3, the full frame version.
FX3, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the full frame.
The Sony Cine.
Yeah, because it's designed for video.
Yeah.
But it can also do photos. It's not driven for photos, but it can take photos. So I'm like, sweet, because I do a lot of video work, but there's that redundancy to I hack and take photos if I need to. So that's it. That'd be it.
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one.
My choice would be this A7S3.
A7S3, yeah.
Just because it's just such a good hybrid. I mean, there's a Canon equivalent, which would be like the R7, which is just, that camera's insane. But I'm just not acquainted, but yeah.
That's a good choice.
5 years. I think this thing will go for 5 years.
Oh, hands down.
Still
I use an A7S3 at work.
Nice.
That's a beast of a camera.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
A7 III? Or
A7 III.
A7 III, yeah.
Yeah.
I use that camera. That was my first like big boy camera.
Yeah.
Was the A7 III, and I used that for roughly 3 years. Funny story, that camera used to belong to Julian, my friend.
Yeah, I know Julian.
I think you know Julian. Julian is he's an aspiring Steadicam operator. He works out in Toronto in the film industry. But so he used to have the A7 III, and he had a Mini Cooper, and his car caught fire. Literally, the car caught fire like while he was inside.
Yeah, I saw the photos. Yeah.
And that A7 III, which I still have, it's in my bag over there, was in the trunk of the car.
Oh.
And like he was literally like gonna go try and open the trunk to get his camera bag. That's thousands of dollars worth of gear. And it was like a movie. Someone was like pulling him back, like, no, you're not. Someone held him back literally from going towards the car.
Holy crap.
It was on fire with the windows closed. So it was about to like just go poof because of the pressure. Yeah. But thankfully, firemen, whatever, fire humans came by and they put out the fire. I don't know what to say anymore for pronouns. They came by and they put out the fire, and they the camera bag was in the trunk,
in the back,
the fire stopped right at the back seat.
Oh, you got
and
lucky.
it was fine.
Oh,
And
man.
I still have that camera to this day, and it is
Still
a
works like a
C
champ.
cam. It is a backup cam, a vlog cam, and
Yep.
it is a gem, that thing. And
Hey, they work. They're great
Sony.
cameras.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
yeah.
that one's great. Hopefully it's still on. I'm trying a different method of powering it out of
Yeah.
a V-mount or V-Log,
That should be fine.
externally powered. But Ryan, that was a great episode.
It
I'm not
was
sure how long we spoke for,
I
but
don't know.
it was cool to get to know you, and I hope the listeners, you guys got to know Ryan a little better and
Yeah.
know the man behind the editing of the Creatives Podcast. If you want to reach out to Ryan and check out some of the work he's done, and hit him up for any of your projects, his information will all be down below in the description. Again, this podcast is available on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And we're just going to continue to work on distributing it, into all the social media platforms and just building it out to be more. But it is a side project, and it gets as much time as there is available. So I appreciate your patience. If you're one of the people in the Instagram DMs that are waiting to hear back about scheduling a shoot, I promise I'm going to get back to you as soon as things settle, because this is a busy time of year for creating videos, ramping up, getting ready for the summer. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Midnight Hour Studios. Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely, man.
And,
It was great. I had a great time.
Me too. Keep
It's fun.
being excellent. And if you can't be great, be consistent. And we'll leave you on that.
Yeah. This time you don't have to shout me out at the end of the video because I'm sitting right here.
Thank you to our editor, Ryan.
Hey, you did it anyways.
right
Thank
here.
you. I
I
appreciate
did it
that.
anyway.
That was great.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next episode, everybody. Have a great day.